It's
Yeah. No, I remember that. I remember like being in flats at 3 o'clock in the morning, and your child is screaming, and it's like, well, I'm sure they can hear that up there and through there.
everywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, here's the. Sometimes the answers are so obvious that we can't see them, right?
Mm.
Who wants her to go to sleep at 8?
Parents.
You see, there's the problem, right?
Mm.
Because her natural rhythm is not the same as as parents' natural rhythm. And the problem is that in our lives, we're always trying to get the children to fit into what we're doing,
Mm.
which is completely unnatural.
Mm.
It's like, imagine that you have a pet, like a cat or a dog, right? Of
Mm.
course, I'm not saying that children are pets. Okay, I'm not saying that, right?
Mm.
But let's just be clear. If you say to your cat or your dog, okay, go to sleep, cat. Go to sleep, dog. The cat and the dog will look at you like, what? you know, like maybe if you got a nice big warm fire and a sort of place in front of the fire,
Mm.
maybe the cat or dog will customize themselves to that
Mm.
environment, lie down, fall asleep, whatever.
Mm.
Um, but it's the same thing with kids, right? The parents are like, okay, it's bedtime, and the kids are like, what are you talking about? Yeah, and it's because their rhythm is completely different from our rhythm. And if you think about it enough, our rhythms are very unnatural. It's
Mm.
very unnatural to do what we do in our lives. We have this construct of society and the world, and a lot of what we do is very unnatural. Um, I try, the example of, in summer, people should in summer. That's a quote from Frozen, the musical and film. So in summer, it's, days are longer. You should go out, you
Mm.
do more. In winter, days are shorter. We're not. It's crazy as it sounds. We're not designed to get up really early in the morning when it's dark and work through periods of time when it's dark and whatever. We're designed to do things during the light period of time, which would be normal as a human being on the planet living off of the environment and the sun. But we do things in a completely sort of unnatural way. And then the children come, and we try to put the children into our lifestyle, which we kind of
Mm.
which we have to, because if we don't, then we're tired, and if we're tired, we can't work properly, and communication is difficult, and so we try to fit the children in. But the first lesson is that you can't put the square shape into the round hole. You've got to just wait.
Mm-hmm.
As difficult as it is, and as frustrating as it is, because you've got your plan and your life and your things and your work and your agenda, and you've got what you need to do or what you must do, but the children don't see any of that. They are getting a child to go to sleep is like getting a plant to go to sleep. Okay. And it is impossible to do that, she said. Yeah. And so there's nothing wrong with a bit of training as well. There's nothing wrong with a bit of training and a bit of practice and getting into a rhythm of life and getting things organized and getting things so that they work very well. But people are not machines. You know, we want to fit the kids into the system, but you know, there's not one size of T-shirt that is going to fit everybody. So so it's much more complex than that. And so what it is a test for us.
Mm.
It's a test of our abilities. It's a test of our understanding, and it's a test of our patience as parents, because children don't make mistakes. Right?
Really?
Now, let me clarify this. They can do something wrong, but it's only because they're trying to do it right. You see? Children don't make mistakes. All they do is copy what they know or try to copy what is happening. They don't make mistakes. The mistakes are something that adults make. Because the mistake is, you should know better. Right? All those little mistakes that we make, like, oh, I didn't put petrol in the car when I was supposed to, or I forgot to get an extra bottle of milk when I was in the shop, or parents make mistakes. Look, the kids are fine. Leave the kids, hands off the kids will be fine.
Mm.
It's the adults who are screwed up. Okay, it's the adults wherein the problem lies. If a child learns a bad habit, that bad habit has come from one of the adults in their environment. Now, it's possible it could come from other children if they mix with the wrong children. That's also possible. But in general, it comes from the adults in the environment. Like if you ask an older child, what is the capital of England? And they say, Paris. Right? It's like somebody's told them that. Kids don't naturally get things wrong. They naturally get things right because they practice and they practice and they practice and they practice and they practice until they do it right. There's all this literature around all these problems that kids have, and it's just the fact that they learn at different ages and different stages in different ways. You know, look back through history and you'll find thousands of scientists that didn't do well at school, right? There's thousands of examples. There's thousands of great people in history that learned in untraditional ways, or that developed late. But the classic example, I think Einstein didn't talk until he was like 7 years old or something. That's the classic example, right? And he was left to develop naturally. And what was the result? One of the greatest scientists of the 20th century. Hands off. Yeah, everybody needs some guidance. And we do need to, you know, there's a little bit of pressure should be applied every now and then. But it's who are we managing? We're managing ourselves.
Mm.
That's who we're managing. I'm frustrated at you because of the way I feel. I'm trying to manage myself.
Mm.
I can't manage my and how do you know somebody's got very bad management skills? They get angry with children. It's really bad management skills. Because children don't do things wrong. They only do what they're told to do. They only do what they learn to do. They only do what's explained to them, hopefully by loving, caring people around about them. Yeah. It's children always believe their parents or whichever care person is there or around them. Your children will look at you and they will believe everything you say, even if it's not true. Okay? If you say, the moon is made of cheese and lots of mice live in it, your children will believe you that that is true. And they will never, you know it's not, because you know the moon is not made of cheese, because it would melt right, and fall out of the sky. But yeah, that's one of the greatest problems in the world, is that children never question grown-ups. And there's a second side to that. I won't get into that, but you know, they believe everything. The teacher stands in front of the children, and the teacher tells the truth, and the children study it and learn it. And the children never get to. They're never like, oh, this is not true, or this is bad, or this is wrong, or whatever. The children believe everything. And this is the greatest problem that we have, because not all adults are correct. Not all adults are correct. Myself included in that. I get things wrong. I get things wrong from time to time. And it's necessary that my children realize that and point that out to me. Oh, that's not right, or that should be different. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. Checks and balances. In business, classical term, checks and balances. You know, we want to make sure that everything is okay. We want to double check the information. We want to make sure that what's coming in is the same as what's going out. And we need to do it in our families as well. Run a system of checks and balances to make sure that everything works out okay. The alternative, maybe the balance is maybe the balance is to be somewhere in the middle, because for a lot of people, because the alternative is just turning people into machines. Yeah, which is just you will do everything, yes sir. And you know, we get soldiers that are very happy, but they never question anything. And I think life is like happiness is very surface level. You know, life is much deeper than that, right? Everybody's happy eating ice cream, right? But it doesn't last. Doesn't last. Disappears very quickly, that happiness. As fast as it comes, it goes. So there's this great push that everybody needs to be happy, and it's like, yeah, I get it. Feeling happy is important, but happiness is like this transitory thing where it's got another side as well, right? And sometimes we need to be unhappy because that's who we are at that point in time. If your favorite team loses the game, you can be unhappy about that experience. Or you don't win at your sport or whatever. You try hard, and sometimes it doesn't happen. So yeah, it's and that unhappiness is as important as the happiness. Because if you're searching only for happiness, then you're looking for a magic drug that you can take. That'll make you feel perfect all the time, and there's no magic drug. And most of the problems in life are not medical problems. Most of the problems in life are not medical problems. They're not problems that doctors can solve through medicine. Most problems are within how we think and how we act towards each other. So yeah. Enough.